Kings love it when they get involved in a game of tickle there, and easy to pass the time. Black, again, holds a draw, so Magnus not really that upset, even though he was the one pushing for a win. Lets out a laugh there. Not sure what's going on there. Magnus in a pretty, like we said, a pretty happy mood today, wherever he is there. I want to give a shout out as the next game gets underway here to the chat, Chess Bay, and all the regulars hanging out in the Twitch TV/Chess chat, and then all of our members at chess.com/TV. We see you guys yapping away. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing and supporting our show.
Yep, we are following the chat everywhere, seeing a lot of activity there, which is good. It adds to the atmosphere when people are chatting, cheering, trolling.
Chatting, cheering, trolling, and those are the three of the Twitch chat. The chatting, cheering, trolling. All right, what do we have here? This is kind of an awkward little Caro Kann. You made it a point already to say Wesley is going to avoid playing the Berlin in Blitz today, but this Caro Kann is not one you see every day, with Black having an isolated pawn, but also up a pawn as it currently stands in the center.
Yeah. Well, it seems like me, if, for example, White were to queenside castle, that Black's a little bit quicker to the punch. Maybe not, the structure is worse, but in terms of how to play this, so, you get to play knight c6, bishop f5, a pretty simple position for Black. I guess what that means, Danny, is Wesley wants to keep pieces on the board because White will win back that d4 pawn, and Magnus is evaluating, do I do it now or later, and boast a better structure.
Right.
So this is going to be a sharp game because it's not in Black's interest to trade everything down.
Especially with that last move by Magnus, castling long, right? I mean, you put the kings on opposite sides of the board here, everybody. Look for Wesley So to try to use the b-file and attack, and for Magnus to try to rush the g-pawn, even if it means losing the g-pawn. I think here maybe he'll play bishop d3 and not be too worried about Black taking on f3 because it would open the g-file, or what do you expect?
That would be possible, and he's done it. There weren't too many options. Black is super active here. Magnus with this move, yes, he's inviting complications.
Right.
Because all of a sudden his structure would be pretty bad too. I think Black is doing quite okay here though, Danny. He doesn't need to take on f3. He's just developed very comfortably, and somehow it's a little, I mean, if that move, a3 happened, I mean, Black can.
And the reason why you said that, Eric was about to say, if that move has to be played, queen takes b6, Black is doing okay because no grandmaster wants to trade and help fix his opponent's pawn structure, right?
No.
Yeah, so now...
a guy like Magnus who will take one weakness and win a game with it.
Yeah. Okay, well, Wesley still maintains a little bit of an edge here, but...
By the way, just to show my maybe lack of understanding, I would have strongly considered bishop takes f3 and a move like knight h5 and post the knight on f4. That seems like a very dangerous variation.
I'm not sure it's a lack of understanding, maybe a missed opportunity by Wesley.
But he had it twice. And Magnus allowed it. Magnus had to. It was pinned, but that was available 2 times. Now there's knight e4. Knight e4 needs to be considered. Anyways, a very, very good position for Wesley without any risk here. And a lot of his losses against Magnus I've looked in the past, he has actually lost in complicated positions, or he sort of had some poor games in solid in sort of symmetrical positions. He doesn't, that's not where he's gone astray against Magnus.
Interesting tactical shot there by Magnus. Knight d4, everybody. You've got f2 hanging, you've got g4 hanging, and Wesley finds what I think was the best move, just to say, you know what, I don't need any of that. I'll back up the bishop and guard c6, and I maintain an edge because Black has this e-file here, everybody. Black has the a-file. Wesley remains in a comfortable position here. Though, you got to say that with the knight on d4, I guess it's better than it was a little earlier. And this pawn on f3...
White's improved his position. White's definitely improved his position. It's still comfortable for Black. We're seeing g5. Why g5? Well, it just gains space. It allows the king maybe g7, f6, a nice route outside. Also, he's thinking about endgames where he might want to put his pawns on dark squares and strengthen his light squared bishop. So b4 is a good move as well because Black wanted to play b4 and c5 and get c5 and d4. Black wanted, that'd be a nice pawn structure. b6, c5, d4. That would complement this light squared bishop real well. So right now he's bringing the king in. Slightly better endgame for Wesley, but I think this is the type of game that I think the fans are hoping to see. Like, it's going to go long. Wesley, in this case, is the one pushing. And he's going to have to make the most of these positions today.
It's a
We
nice
know
idea.
Magnus is coming in good
Bishop
form.
C8, everybody. Wesley was trying to get a move like Bishop A6 where he could trade off White's light square bishop because that would open up the C4 square for the knight. So nice idea, but Magnus kind of puts the stop to it with B5.
No, B5. All of a sudden, your beautiful pawn structure gets ruined, and I think we all hate
We
that.
all cry a little inside. Isolated pawns.
No, now the position is completely good, fine for black. For white, I should say. Magnus is not in any trouble, and he might be looking to play moves like H4 soon, Danny, and activating.
There it is. H4, everybody, hoping that Wesley might take it. Rook H1. Suddenly, White gets 2 targets for the price of 1 pawn. So, Wesley not interested in doing that.
I have to say, the position I'm sitting now, I don't like as much as before,
I know,
where he maybe
feel
had
like
a target.
The tables are turning here slowly but surely. Even knight C6 and then knight B4 is an interesting plan for White, just to kind of relocate the pony and poke at the D5 pawn.
Knight C6, black's going to have to move his king away from that isolated pawn because there's some knight B8 funny checks going on there. Now, Magnus is making progress. I mean, his position has been getting better and better, even though it should be objectively very close to equal. That rook is trapped.
Whoa.
That rook is trapped. B5.
We've almost had 2 games like that. We see
played.
Wesley so kind of look over his left shoulder and shake his head like, ugh.
B5 has to be played, and that is not the move. Now there's knight C6 and knight B4. Your idea is very strong here.
Yep.
But this is putting all your pawns on like B5, D5. Those are just targets for White's light squared bishop and well-positioned rook on D1. Magnus has turned the tables here, and he's pushing.
Yeah, just super well played there, that transition into the endgame. Magnus taking his time deciding whether he wants to take on B5 here, I think, or play knight C6 check, because you can just take on B5. And,
you can, yep.
And
well, how do you take on B5? Because if bishop B5, I take back with my bishop, and if you take my bishop, I take back with my knight. I have the knight takes.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a rook E1 discover check.
Yeah, intermezzo where you have rook E1, and then you gobble up the rook on A4. So Magnus is okay, and he goes for it. He
goes for it.
Decides
bishop takes B5. They trade everything off. He's got this rook E1 check, because otherwise you'd run into knight takes C3 after the rook falls on A4.
That's an instructive line there to show the fans Magnus can't just take here, because he would lose material in the end. But he's calculated the intermezzo appropriately, and he will gobble the rook and be.
I mean, this is a problem, Danny, because if rook A5, there might just be like knight C7 or something.
Yeah.
Magnus. Wait, if rook A5.
Even king B4 is almost interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess you wouldn't do it because he would probably give up the rook happily for 2 pieces. But you're right. It's a tough spot for Wesley there, and you know, we saw him kind of shake his head there, everybody, when he got his second rook awkwardly trapped, or I guess you could say the queen was awkwardly trapped in a previous game, and here the rook. So it'll be interesting to see how Wesley handles this transition as he looks for his best chances to draw, and that's what he decides, keeping the knight on the board.
Rook takes here, rook H2, bishop F1.
I mean, the big problem is the A pawn is just faster than everybody by far. White might just start pushing A4 right away, and here it goes.
Oh, this should be lost, Danny.
Yeah.
You know, there's an argument to be made right now, though, that Magnus Carlsen is coming into this match today in his best speed chess form ever. He's the defending champion. He's at his all-time high FIDE rating, and he just demolished. I mean, Ding Liren. That is a pretty remarkable result statistically too. Like what he was at. He would have been over 3,000 if it counted games after he won. But like I think this is. This is
and Magnus is so decisive.
right now.